The world held its breath. On June 12th, Israel did the unthinkable. After years of veiled threats, shadow wars, sabotage, and assassinations, the Israeli Air Force tore through Iranian skies in one of the most audacious and dangerous attacks of the 21st century. The target, the very heart of the Iranian nuclear program. A program that, according to Israel, was just weeks away from being able to build an atomic bomb. But was this bold move, executed with military precision, a masterstroke that saved the world from a nuclear nightmare? Or was it a catastrophic mistake that just plunged the Middle East into an unprecedented war and gave Iran the final excuse to get its own atomic weapon? What's up, everyone? Welcome to the channel, the place where we go beyond the headlines. And today, our deep dive is into murky and turbulent waters. We are going to dissect what really happened in this attack. We'll analyze what was destroyed, what likely wasn't, and the million-dollar question that no one is properly answering. What happens to a nation's will when it's cornered like this? Stay with me, because what you're about to understand today changes everything. Okay, to understand if the attack worked, we first need to understand what Israel needed to accomplish. This wasn't just about blowing up a few buildings. It was a high-precision surgery with three clear objectives. Think of it as a shopping list for stopping a nuclear program. First item on the list, the fuel. To make a bomb, Iran needs highly enriched uranium. They already had a considerable stockpile, enriched to 60%, which is nearly weapons grade. Israel's first mission was to find and destroy this stockpile. It's like stealing the enemy's gunpowder. Without it, the gun can't fire. The problem? This material can be divided and hidden in multiple locations. And so far, the International Atomic Energy Agency has not confirmed if Israel succeeded. Second item on the list, the machinery. There's no point in having the fuel if you don't have the engine. In the nuclear case, the engines are the centrifuges, thousands of them, spinning at supersonic speeds to purify uranium. The main target here is the Fordow facility, a nuclear fortress built underneath a mountain designed to withstand airstrikes. The news says Fordow was attacked, but the big question is, were its defenses breached? Are the centrifuges inside now dust, or are they still intact? If they survived, Iran could simply take its uranium stockpile, if it also survived, and get back to work in a matter of weeks. Third and darkest item, the know-how. This is the most difficult and controversial target. You can destroy the material and the equipment, but how do you destroy the knowledge? The news confirms that Israel went after the program's human leadership. Fordow, former head of the Atomic Energy Organization of Iran, and Mohammad Mehdi Tehranji, a top physicist, were eliminated, along with military leaders. This is a tactic Israel has used for years, the surgical elimination of key minds. But the truth is, Iran has a massive core of scientists and technicians. Killing a few leaders might slow the program down, but it will hardly stop it. Knowledge, once acquired, is nearly impossible to eradicate. And this, everyone, is where the story leaves the battlefield and enters the world of espionage into the fog of war. The truth is, no one, perhaps not even the CIA or Mossad, knows the full extent of the damage with 100% certainty. Think about it. Having enriched uranium is just the first step. Iran still needs to turn that material into metal, shape it into the components of a warhead, and then build the detonation device. It's an incredibly complex engineering process, and intelligence agencies believed it would still take Iran months to get there. But what if they were wrong? The IAEA, the UN's agency, published a report shortly before the attack, stating it had many unanswered questions about Iran's program, especially regarding where certain crucial pieces of equipment were located. Israeli intelligence is legendary. They may have found and destroyed this secret equipment, but Iran is a huge country, almost 3 times the size of France. It's a labyrinth of mountains, deserts, and cities where anything can be hidden. Israel may have won a battle, but the nuclear scavenger hunt is far from over. But now, let's turn to the most important battlefield of all. A place not made of concrete or steel, but of psychology, pride, and politics. The fundamental question isn't, how much damage did Israel do? But rather, Did the attack break Iran's will to get a bomb? And here, there are two possible futures, two completely opposite paths. Path 1, the diplomatic off-ramp. It might sound crazy, but there's a chance the attack could force Iran to the negotiating table. Think it through. Israel just proved it can fly in and out of Iranian airspace at will. They have effectively eviscerated Iran's air defenses. This means that from now on, everything is a potential target. The presidential palace, the oil fields, that sustain the economy, the country's infrastructure. Faced with continued destruction and military humiliation, the Iranian regime might look into the abyss and decide it's better to seek a deal, a diplomatic way out to save what's left. Kafir. Pride, revenge, and acceleration. History teaches us that nations rarely bow to attacks like this. On the contrary, an external attack is the best tool to unite a country, to silence internal opposition, and to justify extreme measures. Iran can now turn to the world and say, "See, we are the victim. Israel is the rogue state." They will use this as propaganda. And in the shadows, they will make a decision. We will never be this vulnerable again. The quest for a nuclear weapon may cease to be a strategic option and become a matter of national survival, a matter of honor. They will accelerate the program, hide it even deeper, and stop at nothing, because now they have the perfect justification. The fact that US President Donald Trump tried to claim some credit for the attacks only throws more fuel on this, making any diplomacy nearly impossible. So, where does all this leave us? We are on a knife's edge. Israel's attack was, without a doubt, tactically brilliant, a display of power and intelligence. But the strategic question, the great gamble, is still up in the air. Did they manage to set back Iran's nuclear clock by a few years? Perhaps. But at what cost? Have they just created an even more determined enemy who will now pursue the bomb with twice the fury and with the tacit support of other nations who see Israel as the aggressor? The world will soon find out the answer. The attack on June 12th was not the end of the story. It was, in fact, just the beginning of the next and perhaps most dangerous chapter. But now I want to hear your analysis. What do you think happens next? Will Iran be forced to negotiate, or will it double down and speed up its program in secret? Was this a necessary act of self-defense by Israel, or a reckless gamble that will set the entire region on fire? If you appreciated this deep dive, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next explorations into the world's most critical issues. Here, we always go beyond the headline.